Voila! Your dream vacation to Hong Kong starts from rupees 74,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
I think it's more bothersome now
Yeah.
that we're still talking about it. It's like, come on, it's been like now 13 years since I've been here. Let it go. If you don't let it go, how do we all move forward here? So I think it's about high time that it's not really a conversation piece that is interesting anymore. In the beginning, it was about let's just keep working, keep pushing forward, and eventually I'll be so in your face all the time that you just have no choice but to accept me for who I am. My husband, we were on the phone, we were going through some crazy fake case, and there was a lot of threats, there was a lot of crazy stuff happening, and this was in the beginning of my career. He's like the first person that you talk to, so he had to deal with the brunt of all of the negativity, all of the bad things, all the people who were fake, or all the people who were offering things but it was a lie. With every single job you do, some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it's very ugly. Some things don't go well, but then there's more positive than there is that negative. I don't really care what people say. I'm doing the best I can as a mom, and I want to raise good human beings, is what I tell my children all the time. We wanted to have a little girl, and in America you can know the sex of your baby. So we had 6 perfect embryos, and out of the 6, 4 were girls and 2 were boys. All 4 girls went. It didn't work out. That is because we were supposed to have Nisha. Yes. I don't see Nisha as like, oh, Nisha's my adopted child. I don't look at her like that at all, nor do I think about it, in that way. She's my daughter. We don't have the same DNA, but like, Sushmita said, she's born from our heart.
She's fierce, she's strong-headed, she's the most real person, but most importantly, she's also very kind-hearted. She's also someone who has shattered and broken every tag that has been associated with her with much grace and positivity. And that's why I and so many people around me love her so much. Welcoming Sunny Leone on UnTAGged, only on Galatta India. Hi Sunny, how have you been?
Good, how are you?
I am good. Sunny, this show UnTAGged is all about people who have been so strong-headed in handling so many things that have been spoken about them. I feel you are someone so many people have looked up to, including me. I remember I was 16 or 17 when I really started watching your interviews and seeing so many things that you said.
Makes
No,
me feel
I'm
old.
very old now, so it's just now only a few years back is what I mean. But that's when I was, so fascinated about this world and how you came and you just conquered. But I am so sure initially when you entered the world of Bollywood, I saw a clip of yours where you said it was a cultural shock when earlier you came here. How did you handle it? Because as I mentioned in my intro, everything that you have done has had a lot of grace in it.
How? I don't know. I think it's about taking each thing at a time and not looking at it as I need to conquer a certain situation or handle so many things at once. So let's go step by step, and how are we going to solve each of these problems versus it's so much happening, blah, 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 I can't take it anymore, and, feeling bad for myself, because I don't think you can get anywhere if you're just wallowing in your own self-pity. And the name of the game even then and now was we're going to keep working, and whether it's good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is. I don't always feel like that now, but at that time in the beginning, it was about let's just keep working, keep pushing forward, and eventually I'll be so in your face all the time that you just have no choice but to accept me for who I am.
But when the acceptance was not there so much initially, did it ever bother you to a point where you thought of quitting or stepping back?
There's only been I think it was like just a couple of times where I felt like, my husband, we were on the phone, we were going through some crazy fake case, and there was a lot of threats, there was a lot of crazy stuff happening, and this was in the beginning of my career. And I was like, what do we do? Like, do we just go home? And it was really hard because he's so strong, and all I wanted to do was cry as well, and I had to hold back all my feelings towards this entire situation and tell Daniel, no, absolutely not. This is not what we're going to do. We are going to move forward and push forward. Let's solve this problem step by step. And, you know, we know that we're telling the truth. We know that this is some fake case in some fake area that doesn't even have a phone, by the way. So it was like very, very difficult when we found out a lot of the details about it. So it's just like few moments like that where we're like, what do we do? But quitting is not an option for me.
Lovely. You mentioned your husband. I respect him and every man who has always been so supportive of women so much, even though we live in a progressive world. Even today, I have seen 25-year-old, 30-year-old men who sort of get uncomfortable by the success of their partner. And that to me is something I get uncomfortable seeing that, because I'm like, we live in a society, in a world where we have progressed so much, but some people don't. Daniel, on the other hand, he has made sure to stand thick with you in whatever the situation may be. Maybe that also pushed you towards, always doing better in life.
It definitely has pushed a lot of different things. And we really see it as, like, from the beginning, we're like, okay, this is a business. We're going to work together and we're going to see how far we can get. And at that moment when we first came here, we had no idea what was going to happen, how it was going to happen. And we navigated through so much stuff. And he had to deal with, he's like the first person that you talk to. So he had to deal with the brunt of all of the negativity, all of the bad things, all the people who were fake, or all the people who were offering things but it was a lie, or so he really is that first person that people deal with, and he's had to deal with so much stuff, and I give him full credit for all of that. And I think it's human nature when someone else is successful, and you have to kind of take that back step. And he's an extremely confident man. He was raised by amazing parents who taught him so many great things about himself and life and women and how to respect people and business. So, he is an exception to the rule. He's like one of a kind for sure.
I'm sure.
With the amount of support he's given.
Sunny, there has been a transition period in your life, and I, from the outside, saw you beautifully transitioning, but there were still judgments around you. Did that at any point bother you initially? Now, of course, you are well respected, and the kind of work you do, a lot of new actors look up to you for that.
I think that in my initial time being here in India, it is to be expected, certain words that people use or certain tags that they give you. That's completely normal. I think it's more bothersome now
Yeah.
that we're still talking about it. It's like, come on. It's been like now 13 years since I've been here. Let it go. If you don't let it go, how do we all move forward here? So I think it's about high time that it's not really a conversation piece that is interesting anymore. So it's something that, has happened in my life. We've all moved forward and we've all done lots and lots of work and we've all grown in our own ways. And I think it's more odd now that a publication uses that for traction.
At any point of your career, when everyone goes through highs and lows, when maybe things were not going according to your wish, did you feel like maybe this field is not for me, and maybe the voices around you, did that ever take over?
No, not at all. I think like with every single job you do, some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it's very ugly. Some things don't go well, but then there's more positive than there is that negative. There are more things that go well. My fans are so receptive and
Yeah.
so nice, regardless of what media puts out there. They support me through thick and thin, and I mean, that's all that matters, because those are the people buying the tickets. Those are the people supporting me. Those are the people who help me move forward in my career.
How supportive were people around you back then, filmmakers or your co-actors or people you were gonna work with, and of course including your family?
Everybody's supportive to your face. What they say behind, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
all the people that I worked with were really nice, and we're only like maybe a few circumstances that, like, okay, like we need to move forward now, and or we need to, talk about certain situations in a different way or see things in a different way.
Have you ever always been this confident and always been this assuring about your own self, or were there moments of self-doubt?
I think everybody has self doubt. I think everybody feels insecure. I think it's human nature when we see things or see somebody. Um, but I have had the most amazing people around me, and we've been working, knock on wood, nonstop. So that's all I can ask for in life.
Sunny, you get so much love on social media. There's so much positivity. I am not very sure about the how you take the negative comments, but sometimes it does get to you. Now, when you have been in this industry for so long doing good work, does it bother you ever, the comments that come in?
No, I don't read them. I don't really care. Those people don't know me. I don't know them. It doesn't bother me. I know with some people out there, like, they're literally looking at each comment and every single thing. But if you are going to be on social media, you're putting yourself out there. You have to be willing to take the good and the bad and the ugly, all at the same time. But those people don't know you, so why do people take it so personal? And you can post something else and everybody writes something nice. You might post something on a subject matter and you might get some hate. So it's just a part of the game. And we have to believe that social media and having followers, it's social currency, and we have to use it to our advantage. And you have to change your mindset of how you see social media. If you're someone that's just using it for friends, then you can change your account settings
Correct.
for just your friends.
Yeah.
And then you don't see any comments. And then there's, people like myself and other celebrities where we use it as, social currencies, or to be able to put forth our views and opinions on certain matters or support different causes. So that's also important. So I don't read any of that nonsense.
Got it. You're also a mom of three. My last experience with you was in November. We met at T Series, and you were promoting a new project of yours. And I remember we were in the middle of the shoot, and your kids were leaving for their class. And I asked you, "Do you want to meet them quickly?" And you were like, "Yeah." And I just saw so much love and dedication there. And as a mom, often, like my mom tells me, there's a lot of mom guilt involved when you're working. There are also so many voices around you who will be like, okay, maybe she's giving more priority to her work and not kids. And I know, I have seen it firsthand, how much you care and how much they are always your first priority. How do you deal with these things? Because it's a very sensitive matter, because they are your kids in the end.
Yeah, so I don't see any of that. And I don't live in a joint family or in a community where those judgments are coming to me.
Yeah.
It's just my husband and I and our kids, and that's it. So I don't really care what people say. I'm doing the best I can as a mom, and I want to raise good human beings, is what I tell my children all the time. I know this is maybe not a priority, or it's a priority for other families, but for me, I tell the kids all the time, I go, I don't care about your studies. You are going to be in school. If there's something lacking in some area, I will hire somebody to help tutor you and all these things. But I care more about you being a good human being. Are you kind? Are you nice? Are you generous? Are you respectful? So all those things matter to me more than, anything else.
Sunny, you have of course supported adoption, and Sushmita Sen had recently said that even though I didn't give birth, she came from my heart and not my stomach, and that is something that resonated with so many people, and that sort of actually increased the rate also of adoption, because in India earlier, much back, it was considered a taboo. But now people like you, who are public figures, who come out and support the cause and talk about it openly, that's such a wonderful feeling. Do you also have that sense of pride in you?
I don't see Nisha as like, oh, Nisha's my adopted child. I don't look at her like that at all, nor do I think about it in that way. She's my daughter. We don't have the same DNA, but like, Sushmita said, She's born from our heart.
Yeah.
And we always tell Nisha all the time, we go, we didn't choose you, you chose us. You called me,
Yeah.
Nisha, and you called daddy. And, you know, it's what God wanted us. You know, we wanted to have a little girl. I've been talking for 6 hours straight. We wanted to have a little girl. And in America, you can know the sex
Yeah,
of your
yeah.
baby. So we had 6 perfect embryos. And out of the 6, 4 were girls and 2 were boys. All 4 girls went. It didn't work out. That is because we were supposed to have Nisha.
Yes.
And we're not supposed to have a little girl of our own. Nisha was supposed to come in our life. And the other 2 embryos, those 2 boys, is who's sitting at home right now.
Yeah.
So this was what was meant to be for our life. And I think it's such an amazing thing that we don't see DNA, we don't see the color of her skin, my skin color, we don't see any of these things other than the fact that we're a family, she's our daughter, and that's all that matters.
Fantastic. Lastly, of course, you are hosting Splitsvilla, and I'll tell you something. Whenever a little clip pops up on Instagram of you from the show, it's always so fun to watch. It's like you are having fun and you are encouraging everyone to have fun. When you first started off with the show, and hosting is not actually everyone's cup of tea. We have seen actors come to hosting but not really do that great, but you have sort of stuck by. Were there people who sort of told you, no, don't do that, because once you start hosting, maybe people see you in a different light? Were there voices like that?
No, not at all.
Nah. You enjoyed.
I always wanted to work
Yeah.
with MTV since I was a little kid. I grew up watching MTV.
Yeah.
I grew up watching The Real World, which was one of the first reality shows on television. And I grew up watching VJs and those like weekend dance party shows they would shoot. And I always wanted to be an MTV VJ. And when I first came here, that's when all this started. And got an offer to work with MTV. I didn't even think about yes or no. It was just, yes, I want to do it. I had no idea that I would still be here. It's my 9th season. So it's something that I always wanted. I don't really look at the negative of anything, actually. I just do what I want. I do things my way, and whatever makes me feel good as a person.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Sunny. We definitely need more women like you who are so strong and can speak their mind. So thank you so much for being on UnTAGged, and all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sunny Leone, and you're watching me on Galatta India.
Hola! Your dream vacation to Hong Kong starts from rupees 74,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.